Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I'm at a 2023 SEMA show. I'm in front of the Toyota booth. In a little bit, I'm going to put some video on with the Chief Engineer Sheldon Brown. We're going to talk about that, and something over there. He's going to tell you different grades, different customers, and why they did certain things the way they did.
You made it out to the world premiere. Thank you for coming back. We're going to talk a little bit today about some familiar themes, so I won't bore you too much with that, but there were two themes that I want to kind of retread at, and that was, the first one was when we had you out there, we talked about Tacoma for everybody. Mike talked about it also in the introduction. And the second piece of that was the genesis of this new truck, which is the flexibility and the ability that we have now with the TNGF platform. And so it's really where these two high-level themes kind of crossed, was the intersection, really the genesis for this concept. So first I'll walk you back and talk a little bit about what we talked about there, which was all the different grades, the 8 different grades that we brought in. And it starts, of course, with our SR grade, which is based on our extra cab, which you're seeing actually a reimagining of what that might look like here. That was based on two fundamental principles. We call it the 2 V's. Value was first and foremost above that. And then, of course, we wanted to make sure that people had the ability to use that and that truck in a bunch of different ways. And so with that, we focused heavily on basically a true-to-our concept with all kinds of seat functional storage in the back, as well as a full 7-foot deck, or sorry, excuse me, not 7-foot, 6-foot deck on the back for great usage as a truck. That was built on the TNGF, and we actually introduced the Leaf because we know, again, on the value we heard from our customers. And so that was something that was new to the TNGF, but we thought was really important in the compact segment. And so that was really where we went with that. We move up then, of course, to our core truck, our SR5. The SR5 mostly offered in the D cab or the double cab configuration. This is something where, again, we wanted to make sure that we provided a great truck to the customers. And we knew if we wanted to remain first in our segment, we were going to have to advance the segment and what the customer's expectation was. And again, we think about the TNGF platform, and here for the first time on basically a core grade truck, we're moving to that multi-link suspension. I should say maybe a body on frame core grade truck. And so this is really about giving that value, that quality, that dependability, but still making sure that there was the opportunity for customers who wanted to have some very basic transportation, but also wanted some additional amenities. Now for those of us that want a little bit more, they're looking for a little bit better performance, we step into our TRD series. And that always begins with our ORP. That's what everybody knows a lot the Tacoma for. And again, Tacoma was all about that high lift, and we wanted to take that truck and raise it up and tuck that rocker so that it looked like it was capable, authentic, incredible. We decided on the TRD series that we really wanted to provide a lot of equipment, a lot of hardware to make sure that that truck actually gave you very good value for your money as you continue to move up our performance chain. And with that, you know, we've added things like the stabilizer disconnect as an option on that. Of course, we've got the 17-inch wheels with the BFG 32-inch wheels on that as well. Great tires, super sticky, but still well behaved on the road. We have the Bilstein monotubes with the piggyback reservoir. I mean, bringing that all the way down to our basic TRD gives you incredible function and incredible performance. Great handling on road as well as off. We look across the road then, of course, to the Sport, and really, the Sport was it nod for the folks that said, you know what, I don't go off-road most of the time, but I do want to have really nice manners on road and make sure that we have great performance as well. So all of these things came together to make our TRD series. And then of course we had our Limited we talked about, and that was really reimagining what luxury would be in the compact segment from the Tacoma perspective. We wanted to make sure that was the customer who said, look, you know, I've got my off-road toy, I want to drive a truck, I want the amenities that I see in the full class segment, but I need it in what we would call the right size truck. I got to be able to park it in my garage. So we brought things like adaptive variable suspension, available full-time 4-wheel drive. We have an incredible acoustic package on there, and just a number of amenities to make sure that that experience in that truck is above all else. So here's where we talked about these two concepts coming together. We have our halos here, and I'm going to talk about the halos in a moment, but I want to come back to our concept. We said a truck for everybody, and we said that we wanted to make sure that we use the TNGF platform. So what this concept really does is to say, if the TRD Pro was the ultimate in the off-road, what we're missing here is the ultimate execution in on-road for the TRD Sport. And so what we wanted to show here and showcase today was what if we took our extra cab, a lightweight truck that was hyper-focused on road performance and handling, on sportiness, and we just took that truck and we made an X-Runner. And here's what we imagined that would look like. Now the first thing that was very difficult to do is I talked about a high-lift Tacoma. Well, this is anything but high-lift, right? So we took a truck that was designed to look great and was standing tall and proud, and we had to slam it to the ground. The thing that makes this so great is the TNGF platform piece. That started with the 300 series Land Cruiser. We saw that come across to Tundra, Sequoia, of course now the new Land Cruiser that's coming to North America, and of course the 2024 Tacoma. We're able to use those part bins to reduce our development and to make sure that we can do modifications through that, quote, DNA of our brother of trucks. And that DNA is based on the TNGF platform. So what you see today, when we started the underpinnings, is effectively the Tacoma frame. This is, of course, like I said, our extra cab, so we still have the full 6-foot deck. In the front, we basically took the Tundra upper control arm from the TRD Pro. We did a bespoke lower control arm due to the suspension geometry with the Tundra 18-inch front brakes. And we've been in the back, we've actually used the Tundra axle with some small modifications. Some of the Tacoma brackets are welded on there so that they match up with our overall body mounting. And so, in addition to that, we wanted to make sure that we could lower this truck as much as possible, but we still wanted to be able to carry a payload. And to do that, we adopted the Tundra air suspension in the rear. And you can see then, of course, across the front, obviously some new ground effects that we put on the truck to make it look pretty cool, at least I think it does. Some other important things to note: functional air scoop. We've got our intercooler right on the top here. We're driving air down on top, and we're trying to keep all the air inside of this engine compartment cool. Our front air curtains, we're actually pumping air straight back to these 18-inch brakes, making sure that when the party's time to stop, we can do it quickly. Overall, the rest of the truck you can see here, we've put the new skirts to the side, and you may have noticed over here, this exhaust. And that is the twin exhaust because we have stuffed the Tundra V6, the 3.4 liter V6 twin turbo right in here with the 10AT, as well as we've adopted some paddle shifters there as well. So this was probably the part of the truck that was the most exciting for the entire team, the ability to put the big engine, the big motor. We planned for it all along, and we finally had an opportunity to drop her in there. So what makes it even more impressive is we didn't stop there. And you probably saw in our press release, the engineering team for the full-size teams was working hard on something that we internally called Project Hammer. And Project Hammer was about bringing a performance tune. And this is what you'll see today in the press release of our TRD performance package. This ups your horsepower to 421 horse with the same 478 pound-feet of torque. Basically, we have free flow intakes. We add a low-pressure catback exhaust, and then, of course, there's a tune. Together with a 91 octane fuel, you can achieve those horsepower numbers. If you don't run it, no problem. We do have a software in there for anti-knock, but basically, it's built for speed. So that was obviously like the coolest part of this entire build. Does it run? Absolutely. Have we had it on the track? Not yet, but we're just getting it here in time. So overall, we really wanted to make sure that we showcase this today to say that, hey, even though we launched our 2024, we're about to launch 2024, we're not done yet. So with that, I'll walk you over here and we can talk about some other cool trucks that we've got. It starts, of course, with the original gangster here for our Halo vehicles, our TRD Pro. And I know you guys have had a chance to see most of this. Obviously taking this truck to the next level, wider track, about 3 inches wider than the base truck. We put the QS3 shock switchable 2.5-inch absorbers. We've got, of course, the incredible right made by our friends right here at TRD that you just talked to or heard David talk about. Those are actually forged and machined in-house. And, of course, we have the hydro bounce stoppers in the back. Another, of course, important piece of this was our Isodynamic performance seat. And I know a lot of you got to see that original concept that we put out, and it was basically a non-functioning version of the seat that was at the world premiere. Today, we'd like to give you guys an opportunity to take a look at it live and in person here. Now, what's important, and one of the problems that we came across when we were making an isodynamic seat, again, this is oil over air, basically system that absorbs impact that are coming into the vehicle, and the sole focus is to make sure that you're isolating your eyeballs. Want to keep that head straight when you're getting bounced around so that you can focus on controlling the vehicle at hand. We thought about, well, how in the heck are we going to market this thing? Most of our dealers were not ready to say, yeah, go ahead, take my Pro, go run to the desert, come back and tell me if you liked it. So we got together with our folks at Toyota Connected, and they were working on some really cool simulator ideas. And we thought, well, what the heck? Why don't we go put a 6-way, basically simulator here with the seat in place. So I'm going to ask for one bold, daring, excited individual who's great at video gaming as well as likes off-roading. Who would like to go and give this a try? Go? All right. Good. So what you'll notice here, and if we can walk you guys around, you can watch the simulation. This is going to run you down basically a track. And as we come around this track, the two things that I'll ask you to notice, because until you're sitting in the seat, it's a little bit difficult to simulate yourself, but what you'll see is there's going to be a square. And what you'll see is where is his eye movement, where are the center of his pupils, versus with the seat locked out versus when the seat is actually unlocked and functioning. And hopefully what you'll notice is that there's a dramatic improvement. So, as they get settled away, again, I'll remind you guys what we have in the back. You see the two cylinders there. Again, at the top there, you have Schrader valves. Those Schrader valves are basically inflated with air. You have different settings that you can see on the gauge there. So based on your mass, based on your preference, you can control the vertical element as well as the horizontal element. So just below those are the oil, basically absorbers. So don't think of it as a traditional absorber that's moving back and forth. It's an absorber that's always trying to push you back to center. So as your mass pushes this way, it increases the resistance to slow you down. So that's kind of how that works in the up, the down, and the side to side. So here it goes as he's going through the track. And you can see as we're moving, not only is the actuator moving up and down, but you can see the vertical adjustment or the vertical impact absorption that's happening within the seat. The seat is basically, we have all the same features as our 8-way power, with the exception of this does have a manual recline. Otherwise, it's heated, it's ventilated. All the same features that you have there. It's a different foam and I'll say design configuration. It's a little bit tighter to hold you in the seat a little bit better. It's available here in red and also in black. The eye box on the other side, right? Yeah, so when he's done with the overall course, we can look to the right screen and you should see a double box. And that box will show you what his eye center was before and after. And if you didn't get a chance to do it today, I understand these guys are going to be here all week.
Yep.
So I should just give a little bit of credit. This is the team that put this all together. They've been working really hard to get this ready for this event. A lot of hours went into this, but is this the beta version, or we don't know yet? But we're gonna have it all logically dialed in again, and hopefully maybe we can have it in MVP.
We'll turn up the intensity a little bit. All right.
So you notice it's a little bit difficult to see as we're closing. You can see as the vehicle moves up and down. You can see there the spring as he's moving back and forth. There's a pivot joint just behind that where it says TRD there, and there's a pivot joint in the front as well. So basically you get this sort of gyro style isolation.
All right. Got it.
Cross push that. So if you look to the right there, you can see the large screen shows the before, and then the small focused area of the green shows kind of what his actual eye contact was on the simulator versus off.
Easiest way to
So again, the idea is stabilize the upper torso, stabilize the head and the eyes. You can focus at the task at hand. I'll tell you anecdotally, the folks that we've had run through this in the real truck typically run the track about 10 to 15 mile an hour faster, just because you haven't quite reached the limit of the truck yet, but your old crap factor doesn't kick in quite as fast, and you're able to go a little bit quicker down the road. The last truck that we haven't talked about, I think more so than any truck, the Pro and the Trailhunter, they really belong here at SEMA. They were sort of born out of the concept of SEMA. Trailhunter, as you know, is new. The Pro was always our go fast truck, because we wanted to stay true to that big go fast. It was born out of motorsports, performance motorsports. It was all about, adrenaline fuel, excitement, bombing through the desert. And the more and more we saw it becoming a multi-purpose tool, we wanted to make sure that it stayed light, it stayed nimble, and it was built for what it was born to do. So we wanted a truck that was our go-far truck, and that was sort of the genesis of the trailer. And really, we talk about active outdoor adventure, was sort of the development concept and theme here. And really, again, go far, make sure that you can go far with the gear that you can do that. We talk about overweight, there's certainly inspiration here, and say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But we wanted to make sure you had all the stuff that you need all along the way. We looked to do a few things different on this truck. We know that it had to have the Toyota QBR, but we also knew that we needed to look beyond ourselves and see what else was happening out on the market. And we identified a couple of key partners who we thought would bring authentic credibility. Those were sort of the elements that we constantly talk about in this truck. If we're going to do this, if we're going to bring something to this truck, then it has to be authentic, it has to be credible, and we have to execute it in such a manner that we can provide value. And so we looked at partnerships like the RV for the rear steel bumper, for the all-in suspension that we developed. We didn't want to just say, hey, here's a truck, go build a suspension for it. We wanted to bring their engineers in-house, work together with those engineering teams to make sure that when we delivered something, it had all of the requirements that were met all of Toyota's needs. We had the Toyota DNA involved in it, but we brought all the learnings and the actual in-practice product, real-world experiences that ARB had. And so we looked at leaders across the board to do that. This truck is truly about, and I think all of the Tacomas, we really wanted to make sure that the Tacoma was not only the truck of choice for what we provide, but it was also the choice for you to customize and make it your own. So when we looked at this truck, it was all about accommodations and providing solutions that were, I'll say, high benefit to the customer. We weren't going to do something that was just bolt on. We wanted to make sure that we did it in a way that we could provide for. So as you can see, we've got things like the rock rails that are integrated, complete undercarriage protection from the diff to the transfer case protection, the fuel tank, and even the differential. Now, if you don't like those, you don't like what we provide, that's okay, because we've given you guys the attachments and the ability to go out and look to the great folks here like SEMA, some of these really creative aftermarket providers to provide solutions. All across the board, again, this was built on making sure that it's easy for the customer. The accessory switches in the front, the pre-wires, the ability to plug and play right into the steel bumpers. We've got, again, the integrated air compressor in the back here, and then just top to bottom, even on the top, every truck that we have will have basically the weld nuts on the top, the weld nuts in the rocker, so that you can put on whatever it is that you choose, whether it's our roof rack or someone else's. But again, thorough integration is the value that we believe that we provide. So,
all right, there you go. There's the details that I have for you in this SEMA show, what Toyota's building in Tacoma, everything's going on. Leave your comments down below. Be curious to know you guys' thoughts. I don't know why my eyeballs cannot stay on the screen, but I apologize for that too. Put your comments down below. I'll be curious to you guys' thoughts on that too. Check out the videos on the channel. And as always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.